So Todd Mcshay just dropped his mock draft 3.0, and man, do I got a bone to pick with him. And a bunch of other people have put out mocks similar to his. What's up, everybody? Seth Floyd Show. I'm your host, Seth Floyd Hansen. Guys, when I hit record on this video tonight, we had 375 subscribers. Thank you so much. My goal is to hit 500 by the beginning of football season. We still need 125. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You help me out a ton. So Todd Mcshay, who's my guy? I love Todd Mcshay. He's like my go-to for draft stuff. One, I just respect his opinion. Two, he's like well plugged in, and when you listen to his podcast, he talks about things he's hearing. He's not just speculating; he thinks he's hearing, so I can't get enough of it when he drops stuff about the draft on his pod. But he's been doing a mock draft, and he never, for the record, I know I just said he talks about things he's hearing. He's never talked about, at least I haven't, not this offseason, things he's hearing about the 49ers, which a bug, which is pretty par for the course. 49ers generally don't leak stuff. I think at times stuff has come out, but they're kind of known to try to be hush-hush. They try to do a good job of keeping everyone tight in the building or limiting who knows what. That being said, Todd Mcshay for the 49ers at pick 11, he had the 49ers taking Will Johnson, okay, the cornerback out of Michigan. And there's been a good number of people who have mocked a cornerback or defensive back to the 49ers. It's always either Will Johnson or Jahdae Barron from Texas. Now, here's my issue with that. The reason people mock these DBs to the 49ers, okay, is they always bring up that this offseason they lost Mooney Ward. And it is just so that statement right there, just tells you they are not like watching 49er games, or they're not evaluating the roster like it should be evaluated. Because all my 49er fans watching this video, all together, why did we let Mooney Ward walk? Because Renardo Green played so dang well as a rookie. Why did we let Mooney Ward walk? Because Deommodore Lenoir looks like he's on his way to being an all-pro, and we just extended him, okay? So you have two very good corners. Demo is very proven, okay? He's got some games under his belt. He's very proven. You feel very good about him being number one. Renardo Green, rookie, but very promising, like as promising as you could hope for in a rookie DB, in a rookie corner like that. Okay, he was as advertised second-round pick. So it's clear that they're not talking about Renardo Green. They're not thinking about Renardo Green. Maybe they don't know about Renardo Green as much. And
what an idiot!
And so they just assume that another corner is needed. I can't stand it too, because nothing the 49ers have ever done makes it seem like they would take a corner early. Not since Lynch and Shanahan have taken over. I go back to what Tim Kawakami, he said earlier this offseason when talking about the 11th pick, like right as the offseason was really starting and draft season was kind of around after the Super Bowl. And he said, I can't remember if I did a video on it. I can't remember if someone told him this or he just said the vibes are or whatever. I think someone kind of mentioned to him like, at pick 11, they're gonna stick to their guns. They're gonna stick to what they believe in, which is either get a guy who can rush the passer or get a guy who can score touchdowns, and that's kind of what they believe in. And they've never spent high on a corner. They have in free agency, I guess, Richard Sherman, Mooney Ward, but Renardo Green was the highest draft pick they've had with a corner, and they hit on him. We think, I'm assuming, as long as he doesn't have like this huge regression, like. He looks like an ascending player who's going to fit really well in with this team. So why would they feel like, hey, we desperately need to go get one of these corners? This isn't a top-heavy draft for corners. I think people are excited about Will Johnson, but he missed a lot of time in 2024. They're excited about his 2023 tape. Again, if you guys watch me, like I don't grind tape. I don't have time. I'm a tax accountant. It is tax season.
I'll do your taxes.
So all I do is enter taxes and whatever. All I do is do your returns. Hit me up if you need your taxes done. You have until Tuesday the 15th. But I'm just going off of what other people have said. Like no one's banging the table for like, hey, this guy has to be a top 10 pick. Like, it's like, okay, he was hurt, so he missed time. People are really excited about his 23 tape. If you listen to Mcshay, Mcshay says, look, he is best. Will Johnson is best when he has he is facing the quarterback, and he plays zone, and he can put his foot in the ground and get after it. He says he's not good at all when the ball is in the air and he's got his back turned to the quarterback. So like think a ball down the sidelines and the ball's thrown and he has his back turned, and he said he does not play the ball very well like that. Like, all right, well, that doesn't sound like a kind of guy I want to spend my 11th round pick on, or 11th overall pick on. I don't know. That's just what I listened to on the Todd Mcshay podcast. Jahdae Barron, who a lot of people have mocked the Niners, like fine, like maybe he's a little better. I think some people think he's better, or he has better ball skills at least. If I'm going at 11, I better be getting somebody who can hawk the ball. That's for dang sure. Regardless, though, I can't imagine a world where they're going to take a corner. There's corners in this draft later that they probably can take and feel good about. I know the idea is, okay, if you can land another starting outside corner, you can move Demo into the slot, or you got to find a slot corner, but I don't think they're going to sacrifice the 11th pick to make that happen. Not when they believe in, look, we have to rebuild the defensive line. Their philosophy is you build from the inside, the trenches out. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute with me that they would do that. Some of these corners, I can't say his first name, Azir something Thomas from Florida State. Same program as Renardo Green, same coaching staff for the most part, I think. Did they have changes on defense from when Renardo Green was there? I'm not sure, but like same program, same general philosophy. I know Florida State was awful this year. That's not a great, it's not a great, what am I trying to say? Like reason to take him. But I think a lot of people look at him and they see a lot of Renardo Green in this Thomas kid. Again, I can't say his first name, sorry. Like he could be a second or third round pick. Like I think he's pretty physical, feels like he's physical and whatever. I haven't grinded the tape, but I'm just saying I've heard his name. They're probably more likely to take a shot on a guy like that after they just had a success story from taking a player of the same position from the same school. Or Kobe Bryant from Kansas, who I have a hard time knowing where all these guys are going to go because I feel like people keep moving Kobe Bryant up their draft boards. Probably because of his name alone. Like he probably should be a first rounder just based off his name alone. If you know, you know. Kobe, what up? Rest in peace. But I've seen some people say he's like a third or fourth round pick. Like they got 2 third round picks. They have a 4th round pick. Like maybe they're going to target a guy like that, but I just cannot see at 11. In no way do I see them taking a DB at 11, unless they have watched the tape on Will Johnson. If Robert Saleh has watched the tape on Will Johnson, which I'm positive he has, I'm positive he's watched the film on Jahdae Barron, okay? And if he has pinpointed something like, no, this dude is going to be one of the best cornerbacks in the league, I don't care if everyone else has missed on the evaluation, we need to take him at 11, then fine. And I will cheer the guy on, but that just does not seem like the pick. That does not compute. It doesn't feel like their kind of philosophy, especially when the defensive line is so depleted right now. Like it's just backwards. Now, if I had to today, what is today? It is Thursday, April 10th. If I had to guess today what the pick was at 11, assuming they're still there at 11, the more I think about what Tim Kawakami said, rush the passer or guy who can make plays and score touchdowns, my guess is the pick is Mike Green. Mike Green at 11, okay? Yes, there's been some concerns about his character. I've heard people downplay it a bunch, like he's never been charged. These were just like accusations that had come out, but there was nothing really behind him. He owned up to it at the combine. He was not shying away from it. Dude had 15 sacks. I've done the Mike Green thing. He's one of my draft crushes. I will be ecstatic. I will be ecstatic if they take him at 11. 17 sacks this past year at Marshall. Was a game wrecker against Virginia Tech. Like, fantastic, okay? That's what I would think. Now, if Mike Green is gone, or maybe they like James Pierce from Tennessee, I think it's going to be a pass rusher is what I'm trying to say. Because I think you can find interior D linemen who play the run well later in the draft, okay? Because we value getting after the passer so much more than stopping the run, that those guys who specialize in stopping the run, they slide down. And I think you can get starters. I'm not saying they're going to be all pros or Pro Bowlers, but I have a hard time seeing that. That's why I have a hard time seeing them go a Walter Nolan at 11. Okay, if they trade back, then maybe they'll take Walter Nolan a little later. But like if you aren't like a premium at rushing the passer, I just don't see it at 11. Now, maybe Derek Harmon, again, disclaimer, haven't grinded the tape. I'm just going off of what I've heard. I'm going off of what other people have said, mainly Todd Mcshay. But Mcshay and Minch on their podcast talk about how Derek Harmon is fantastic at rushing the passer. He's been very good inside, very good with his hands, gets to the passer. But one of his problems is he's not as strong against the run. So do they want a guy like that? I don't know. But maybe they are so convinced he can get to the passer from the interior that's what they want to do. Maybe. But if I had to put money on it right now, I would say Mike Green. Mike Green at 11. I would do, if it were me, if I was Shanny or Lynch and I had the decision, I would write Mike Green's name on the card. Okay? Assuming they've kind of squashed the concerns they might have had about character stuff off the field. And that's just like an all or nothing thing. Like, is he good enough to be taken at 11? Yes. But if you're worried about his character concerns, you're not going to be like, well, I like him at 11. He's talented enough, but he has character concerns, so maybe we'll trade back and try to take him at 30. Like, no. If you have genuine character concerns about him, you're just going to take him off your board. So you either believe in the guy, you think he's got it figured out, and you'll take him early, or you just don't take him at all. Okay? That's how I feel. I would take Mike Green and roll the dice with being able to get Omar Norman Lott or TJ Sanders or someone later in the second and third rounds to kind of plug up and fill up the middle. That's what I would do. But 49er fans, like I don't believe all this. Like there's been a lot of smoke about DBs for the 49ers, and I just can't see it. Not at 11. Now, if you told me they traded back into the 20s and all the defenders you wanted, the linemen are gone, and Jahad Campbell is off the board, and whoever else you think they might be interested in, then fine. If Jahdae Barron is there at 20, like maybe they would pull the trigger. She's the highest one left on the board, and they could use, you always can use defenders. I could maybe see that, but man, at 11 it's tough. I almost feel like they're more likely to take a safety, not at 11. But if they were to trade back in that scenario I was just talking about, like in the 20s, like could you take Nick Emanwari, freak athlete, like he could be really good. We have a bigger need at safety than we do at corner. Starks, I'm really bad with first names, but better with last names. Malik Starks, oh gosh, I'm going to butcher it. Starks out of Georgia, who for a while was like, yeah, he's the best safety in the class. And then he probably didn't have as good of a junior year, as good of a 2024 season as he'd hoped. And now he's kind of dropping. And then Nick Emanwari blew up the combine. So a lot of people have Nick Emanwari going ahead of Starks. But Malachi Starks, what am I saying? Maybe you trade back and you just need it. But I feel like there's a bigger need at safety there. But whatever. The point is 49er fans, if you're like me, don't believe the smoke, okay? I think they want a pass rusher. I think they want to trade back. That's what I think. But I think they're going pass rusher, and I think it's Mike Green at 11. And I would do it. Roll the dice, baby, because he looked good. And then he followed it up at the Senior Bowl and dominated. So that's what I got. I love Todd Mcshay. Couldn't disagree more with his mock draft. I'm ready for the draft to get here so we can just stop speculating and just figure it all out. That's all I got. Thank you for being here. If you haven't yet, please hit subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends, share it with your enemies. And that's all I got. Go Niners.